Good morning, boys and girls. We are looking at number bonds. And number bonds are two numbers that go together to make a particular number. But today we're looking at the number 20. So how do we write 20? A 2 and a 0. So wherever you go and you see this 2 and the 0, it is 20. So we're looking at numbers that go together to make 20, right? So because it make 20, we are going to do it right. And we are able to count it. So whether you're sleeping or you're waking, remember we did all the counting yesterday using the counters, but today we're not using the counters because I would have done that yesterday. Now we're going to do them together from our brain, right? So you're going to ensure that when you go to sleep and you say that number plus that number gives you 20. And today you're going to learn all the numbers that go together to give you 20. So make sure that you sit back, relax, and ready to learn. Are you sure you're ready to learn? All right, let's go, guys. Let's sing our song, boys and girls. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number ones, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 10 plus 10 equals
20.
10 plus 10 equals
20.
10 plus 10 equals
20.
number bond, number bond. I know my number bond, number bond, number bond. That make 20. 10 plus 10 equals
20.
10 plus 10 equals
20.
number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 11 plus 9, that is
20.
11 plus 9, that is
20.
number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 11 plus 9 equals 20. 11 plus 9 equals 20. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Great, guys. So let's go on again. Sing the song with me. So 12 plus 8 is equal to
20.
12 plus 8 is equal to
20.
number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 12 plus 8 is equal 20. 12 plus 8 equals 20. 12 plus 8 equals 20. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 12 plus 8 equals
20.
12 plus 8 equals
20.
number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds. 13 plus 7 equals
20.
13 plus 7 equals
20.
number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 13 plus 7 equals 20. 13 plus 7 equals 20. Number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 13 plus 7 equals 20. 13 plus 7 equals 20. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 14 plus 6 equals
20.
14 plus 6 equals
20.
number bond, number bond. I know my number bond, number bond, number bond. That make 20. 14 plus 6 equals
20.
14 plus 6 equals
20.
number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 15 plus 5 equals
20.
15 plus 5 equals
20.
number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. So 15 plus 5 equals
20.
15 plus 5 equals
20.
number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds. 2 halves make a whole. 2 halves make a whole. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 16 plus 4 equal
20.
16 plus 4 equal
20.
number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 16 plus 4 equals
20.
16 plus 4 equals
20.
16 plus 4 equals
20.
number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 16 plus 4 is equal to 20. 2 halves make a whole. 2 halves make a whole. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 17 plus 3, that is
20.
17 plus 3, that is
20.
number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 17 plus 3 is equal to
20.
17 plus 3 is equal to
20.
number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds. 2 halves make a whole. 2 halves make a whole. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 18 plus 2 is equal to
20.
18 plus 2 is equal to
20.
number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 18 plus 2 is equal to 20. 18 plus 2 is equal to 20. Number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Each half, 2 halves make a whole. 2 halves make a whole. Number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 19 plus 1 is equal to
20.
19 plus 1 is equal to
20.
2 halves make a whole. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 2 halves make a whole. So whatever number is in these 2 circles at the bottom, they should go together to give you the number at the top when you add them. All right? Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. 20 plus 0 is equal to
20.
20 plus 0 is equal to
20.
20 plus 0 is equal to
20.
Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds. Two numbers give you the whole. Two numbers give you this whole. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. Number bonds, number bonds. I know my number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. That make 20. So boys and girls, these two numbers at the bottom, when you add them, you should get 20. So 20 plus 0 is equal to?
20.
I can't hear you.
20.
Great job, guys. I know my number bond, and you should know your number bonds. Okay, boys and girls. So now I'm going to let Eliana tell me 19 plus 1 is equal to?
20.
19 plus 1 is equal to?
20.
All right, Eliana, you can have this one. 18 plus 2 is equal to?
20.
18 plus 2 is equal to?
20.
Jaslyn, 18 plus 2 is equal to?
20.
All right, number bond. All right, 17 plus 3, Eliana, is equal to?
20.
17 plus 3 is equal to?
20.
17 plus 3 is equal to?
20.
Number bonds, 20. 16 plus 4 is equal to?
20.
16 plus 4 is equal to 20?
Yes.
Good job, guys. 15 plus 5 is equal to?
20.
15 plus 5 is equal to?
20.
All right, good job, guys. You get this one. 16 plus 14 plus 6 is equal to?
20.
14 plus 6 is equal to?
20.
Great job, guys. 13 plus 7 is equal to?
20.
And what are we doing? Which number bond are we doing? 20.
20.
All right, good job, guys. Now, 12 plus 8 is equal to?
20.
12 plus 8 is equal to?
20.
12 plus 8 is equal to?
20.
You don't need to shout. 11 plus 9 is equal to?
20.
11 plus 9 is equal to?
20.
11 plus 9 is equal to?
20.
10 plus 10 is equal to?
20.
10 plus 10 is equal to?
20.
Great job, guys. So remember these, that if you have 10 things and you get 10 more, it goes right back to 20. So when two numbers go together and they gives you 20, those are the bond, the number bond for the numeral 20. Or if you want to say number 20. So those are the bonds. The numbers that go together are the same thing as when you pair them. So when you put these two numbers together, you get 20. So if I have 15 things and I get 5 more, it's 20. If I have 19 things and I get 1 more, that is 20. So that's a bond of 20. I know, boys and girls, that you're smart, and I know that you will not forget these things, because these are things that we should know. So if I wake you up in the morning and I says 18 plus 2 is equal to?
20.
18 plus 2 is equal to?
20.
What about 20 plus 0 is equal to?
20.
10 plus 10 is equal to?
20.
11 plus 9 is equal to?
20.
12 plus 8 is equal to?
20.
All right, guys. So what if I say 13 plus 7 equals to?
20.
Good job, guys. All these numbers are bonds that go together to make the numeral 20. So all these numbers, when you put them together, so number bond is putting two numbers together to make a whole, a number, right? So you have different types of number bonds. So you have numbers that go together to make 10, but today we are doing number bond 20. Remember now, boys and girls, you have the ability and you are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. Do not be afraid. At this time, we are going to share a poem. All right? Okay, boys and girls, so we'll be doing, myself and Jasmine will be doing the poem, The Heights by Great Men. All right? 1, 2, 3. The heights by great men, reach and kept, were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upward through the night. One more time, Jaslyn. The heights by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upwards through the night. So they did not waste time. They were always doing that which they need to do, and it means then that you need to work, study and study and study, practice and practice the number bonds until you get them, right, boys and girls? Now, myself, Eliana, and Jasmine will be doing another poem. Let's go. Task. If a task is once begun, never leave it till it's done. Be it labor great or small, do it well or not at all. One more time. Task. If a task is once begun, never leave it till it's done. Be it labor great or small, do it well or not at all. Once you have a task and you start it, never leave it until you are finished. You have the ability. And what do we say, Eliana? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. See you tomorrow, boys and girls. Remember that you're smart, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You are a child of the King, and God made you special. Right, boys and girls? Remember, touch yourself that I am special. I am unique. I am all that God says that I'm supposed to be. Right? So give yourself a big, wonderful round of applause for practicing number bonds. Have a good one, boys and girls. Thank you. Say bye to boys and girls for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, boys and girls.